So, and of course, my son was born in 1947, and I came back, gave that up, went to work for a department store that was called Hick Brothers at that time, but it was called Hick Company later on. And there was a lady there that took a liking to me, and her husband worked for USF&G, which is United States Fidelity and Guarantee Company, you probably never heard of.
No.
And it was an insurance company, and I went to work for them. And in 1948, and in this, I think, I don't know, anyway, they started to make people retire at 65 at the plant at that time. And when an assistant treasurer retired, I became an assistant cashier. I worked there until 1982.
Uh-huh.
And that's where that was my career in Baltimore. And of course, I also had another son while there.
Right.
So they're 8 years apart. And of course, then I had my one son got involved with dogs and cats, and his wife didn't want children, and so when my younger son got married, he had 4 boys.
4 boys.
And of course, then on August 2nd, this year, my youngest grandson will be dead. Found him dead in bed 2 years ago. And I was married back in 1944 to a lady that was working at Morton's, and she was from North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
And she passed away in June of 1967 because she had cancer. And of course, the wife had just passed away this year. I started going with her in 1973 or something, and I held her off till 1977. And we got married in 1977. She had 2 boys, and she had 6 grandchildren. And of course, we got married in 1977. We got married by her father, who was the last wedding he performed. And a few months after we were married, he was hit by a fire truck.
OT.
And lived a few months and passed away. And she and I were married almost 29 years when she passed away in February.
Well, a long life together there, second one. Now, what was it like dating back when you were young?
I didn't do a lot of dating through high school and all. Main problem, I guess, didn't have the money.
Didn't have the money. Well, now, Violet, did she have all kinds of boys hanging around the house all the time?
Neither one of the girls were too much. While I was around, they didn't have too much of a boyfriend. Violet did have a boyfriend before I left home. Or before she left home, after she got out of school, she went to go to nursing school, and then went into the baking business instead.
Well, I remember the cakes you'd make there in Phoenix, and decorating them.
Yeah, but that was
But
pie. That was a pie shop.
Yeah, but I remember that's when I first
Yeah.
remember you.
Mm-hmm.
Back, I don't know,
Yeah,
1970 or
the ice
something we
cream.
came through.
Oh yeah, she was in the ice cream then.
Yeah.
She still likes it.
But of course, she went and met a family out there, and she worked with them in their pie baking thing
In Muncie.
in Muncie, Indiana, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they moved to Phoenix.
They went to Phoenix
After
then,
she
and
got married.
eventually-
Well,
and
no,
then she got married in
DeVita
Muncie.
DeVita was always sick, getting bronchitis or something, wasn't she?
Well, I think, but she had
What
two.
bronchitis? Why did DeVita have the reason you moved to Phoenix? I don't even remember now.
Because her husband wanted to go out there.
She probably was.
They had 2 children before they went out there.
No,
Yes, they did. Don't tell me they didn't.
Okay.
You don't, oh, don't.
Now, I proved you wrong this morning, remember?
Well, I just proved you wrong.
Okay.
Because I remember seeing, because we came, we
You
came
came
out,
in South
we
Chalmers,
called Chandler was a baby, and they lived outside of Indianapolis. What was the place you lived in?
Greenfield.
Greenfield, Indiana.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
in a trailer, they lived in a trailer.
By a lake, so they could go, they could go fishing.
Yeah, there was a lake on there, right? Yeah. Her husband was a construction man, and of course, he was,
Cement man, wasn't he?
no, he did all kind of construction, I think.
And everything in construction.
He did everything in construction.
I don't know why we went to Phoenix now. Well, Davita, I think Davita was
Well,
getting,
because the
having
I think-
lung
I think
problems
part of
and
the
all.
problem was that the Bilbys were out there, and you wanted to go out there also.
No.
Weren't they out there then?
Dolphy and them were they?
You worked,
Mhm.
you worked with the Bilbys out in Phoenix for a while.
She worked for Edna one time with, when she had that, babysitting business, didn't you? Oh, she did have a nursery, didn't she? Yeah, I worked up there a while. But you went, actually, I think you went out there for Davita's health, because it was a drier climate, no?
Well, I don't know, I thought
Where I
some,
live now is as big as Phoenix was.
Hmm?
Where I live now is the edge of Phoenix
Mhm.
at that time. Everything else is built up all around now.
You'd only bought more ground when you moved out, right?
No, we rented and rented and rented before we bought.
Mm-hmm.
Finally was introduced to a couple of real estate guys, and I went out and looked at this house, and I said, well, if I had the money, I'd buy it. So they loaned me the down payment.
Well, thank goodness.
That's the house I live in today.
And you got it paid off finally.
Sure did. Sure did.
Phoenix has sure changed, hasn't it?
Oh, unbelievable. Not for all good, though.
Too many people out there for my liking.
Yeah, you just about run over people.
Well, the changes that you all have seen have been traumatic.
oh yeah, about any place you've been. And of course, when I first went to Baltimore, I lived in the city a little while. And after I made a couple moves around and all, I finally ended in Baltimore County. And I lived in a place called it's called Parkville, which is a small development. And from Parkville, then I went, after Miriam and I were married, why, she decided she was gonna retire, or I was gonna start hauling her back and forth to work. And after we moved over in Pikesville, why, she decided that she wasn't gonna work. Wouldn't tell me why, but anyway. So, but she didn't wanna own a house, so we moved into an apartment, we've lived in an apartment since then. So we lived almost, I think we moved over and started an apartment. Well, I was living in an apartment, that's when I met her.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we moved over there in 1980 and 1979. And then last year, she just said that she was on a walker. She'd had a lot of problems with brakes and things. And then last year, she said she wasn't gonna do steps anymore, so we moved out in Randallstown, which is a couple miles from where we live. And of course, she didn't make it quite a year there when she died.
Well, how would you describe your parents?
But they were loving parents.
Caring,
Hardworking.
hardworking,
Like,
college educated?
no, both of them were, I don't know how much education my dad got. My mother stopped when she was 16, when she had to take care of her dad and her brothers.
Okay.
And I don't know how much education Dad had.
But they did have formal education up to high school anyway.
I
No.
don't know whether he went that high.
Okay.
I don't know
But they could read and write.
Yep.
And they were loving and caring,
very much.
provided for you. Did they ever provide a switch as a motivator?
I've had both.
We had a paddle.
You had a paddle.
I've had,
No,
Unused.
Switch, I forget, oh, no, definitely.
and I got,
It must have been a switch, though.
They also had a razor strap.
Yeah, well, maybe that's it.
And the last one I got was that I stopped, I was collecting paper, collecting out and played basketball with the kids in the alley, and I didn't get home in time to eat. And I got some whacks for it.
And if we didn't clean our plates up, we had it for the next meal, too. We didn't waste food
You
like
didn't
we
waste food like today. Just take out a whole big plate full, eat what you want, and just throw the rest away. That wasn't the way you all ate.
No.
You did have to eat it. If you didn't,
If you took it out, you ate it, didn't
you
you?
get the next meal.
Did you
And
ever,
we didn't have a microwave to heat it up in.
did you have a refrigerator?
Yeah. When they come out, right? Had an ice box first.
Had an ice box first.
When we moved to town, we had an ice box.
Oh, well, I had that in 40, even in 41.
We had
You know, I had an ice box for a while, for 3 years, and then when I moved to a double, and it was during the war, and we had an ice box, and the ice man brought me 50 pounds of ice about every 3 days or
We
something.
had a
like that.
refrigerator
Wow.
before 41 because we had it.
Well, that, when I got married,
Right.
I mean, oh yeah, I think Violet, when she moved to Arizona, we had a refrigerator before that,
Right.
but you gave Mom another your refrigerator from the trailer, didn't you? It seemed like when I was still home, you had, well, no, you did, oh, forget it. Because I went. Anyway, I remember a refrigerator, nice refrigerator. We froze ice cream, and then we put ice cream in the ourselves, and then with a Craig.
Okay.
All, and we put the leftover in the refrigerator, and I loved it. I ate ice cream for breakfast.
Well, we only have about 3 minutes left. Anything particular you want to say?
Well, as I say, I feel very blessed that I've been able to live the age I have. I've been very blessed with good health, and that I've outlived my parents, my grandparents, my brother,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm shooting for 100 now.
All right. Got a goal.
You want something said, so I just.
Okay.
I have some friends that would hopes that I live to be 100.
Well, that's good. That's good that you have friends that want you around a while longer.
But I've had a very blessed life, and very loving family.
Uh-huh. I know Violet had a son. It was a son, right? That brought you out here from Phoenix. Is that right?
Right.
He must think a lot of you too to take the time off to do this.
He's good.
He seemed like he's a
The
very
kids
nice.
all are.
You kind of proud of him?
I'm real proud of all of them.
All of them. That's great.
They've been great.
It's not because necessarily they made lots of money or made the national headline, just because they were good people. Is that
Loving
way?
kids,
Okay.
caring, always worrying about me.
Worried that you don't talk.
Not until I get mad and look up.
You can't.
Somebody crosses me,
Yeah,
I can tell them.
you can talk.
Otherwise, I'm calm.
You're
God's
blinking,
looked after
Miss.
me many,
That-
many
Yeah,
years.
it's about gone. Mary Rose, tell some stories, some secrets they don't want anybody else to know. It's your chance to put it on tape.
I don't know too many secrets.
Oh, gee, y'all didn't do
We
anything.
were angels.
You're
remember?
angels who had to work all the time, right?
Didn't have time to get into trouble.
Parents kept a leather strap around to keep you straight.